Hi, my name's Tom and I'm back talking about F1 Fantasy. We've just had Baku, we're going straight to Canada, no time to rest, go, 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 go. What are we doing with our teams? This is what this video is here for. I'm going to be talking exactly what I'm thinking at the moment going into Canada. Have a quick think about what happened in Baku because obviously, as usual, Baku gave us a pretty chaotic race. Not quite as chaotic as previous years maybe, but still some drama, plenty of DNFs, and the DNFs obviously having a big impact on a lot of people. You can see that the team I've got on my screen at the moment um, is the team I had in Baku. I haven't made any substitutions yet, and yeah, anyone who was going really hard on the Ferraris been punished pretty badly, to be honest. I actually ended up improving my rank purely because of Red Bull as my constructor, I think. I went for the safe, balanced approach. Actually, went with Ocon over Bottas, and it was very tight. Actually, Bottas just didn't look good, like alongside Guan Yu Zhou, so I didn't go for Bottas in the end, even though I think he's still good value, and he's still, even though he didn't do very well in the race, still performed in terms of fantasy of those like positions gained, and then the Guan Yu Zhou DNF obviously helped him out as well, getting those beating the team 8 points as well. So yeah, in the end it was actually a very tight decision between Ocon and Gasly for me. Gasly looked really strong, but I still feel like AlphaTauri, or at least I did think that AlphaTauri were a little bit too much of an unknown, and Gasly's got that tendency to have either a really good race or a really rubbish race. He seems to be a bit unlucky sometimes. So in the end, I just went for like that consistency pick with Ocon. Also, could have gone Ocon or Alonso. Both look good. Alonso always looks good, to be honest, but he's flattered to deceive in the past, and so I just went for that Ocon pick, and he did okay. But yeah. So plenty of food for thought thinking about Baku. Like I say, those DNFs from the Ferraris, like going forward, do we just scrap off Ferrari? And I'm going to show you a couple of team builds which basically have no Ferrari in, which is going to be kind of interesting. So we're going to have a look at them in just a minute. And I just want to discuss kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. In fact, let's not discuss anything. Let's just have a look straight at one of those Ferrari non-build, should we say? So let me just have a quick look what I've pulled up here. So this does include actually bringing in George Russell. And I've been against bringing in George Russell all season so far. But now we have to really think that not only is he top five like every single race, but that Mercedes engine and just that general Mercedes, year upon year, the Mercedes are just proven reliable, and they might not be quite at the level of Red Bull and Ferrari so far this season, but that reliability, that just finishing races, they're clearly ahead of everyone else other than Ferrari and Red Bull. So they're going to consistently sort of come in the sort of fourth, fifth, sixth position. Particularly George Russell having a fantastic season, so it's becoming more and more difficult to avoid George Russell. But I'm still not convinced by it. So this is just like me thinking about it at the moment. So we got George Russell in there. Magnussen is another one which is kind of, I think he needs to kind of leave the team at the moment. Like, in fact, if we have a quick look at his recent performance, look what's happened in the last 4 races. 2 points, -1, -6, -7. That's a grand total of what, -12 over 4 races? Oh my god. Averaging -3 a race over the last 4 races. So I know some of it's not really been like his fault as well. I don't know. You could argue it was in Spain with him and Hamilton clashing, but reliability is the big key theme at the moment. The Ferrari engine's blowing. The Haas are obviously using parts of from Ferrari to make their engine up or whatever. So that Ferrari just concern me. Just anyone that's involved in Ferrari. So this team I'm going to have here kind of just avoids Ferrari entirely. So yeah, let me just have a look. I was thinking of actually bringing in. I keep talking too much as usual. Getting him in, and also Albon. And I know I'm currently 0.1 short of this particular team, and it looks very blue and green. I kind of like it actually. It's kind of a nice shade. No red in there at all. Kind of like it. Nice reliable cars in here only. So this is definitely a team that I'm considering, and like I said, I know I can't afford it at the moment, and I know the prices are a bit weird. They seem to have been frozen for the last day or so, so I don't know if they're going to unlock before the deadline. If they unlock, then maybe I can see that drop in Albon, or maybe even Vettel might drop, and I can actually afford this team. And if not, like Vettel could easily become anyone else in this category. Bottas is, even though he's not been performing well, and the Alfa Romeo has got that Ferrari engine, and there's those issues, and Bottas is, I think he's still fine to pick. I know I'm very concerned, like I say, with the reliability of the Ferrari engines in general. But this team here, for example, only has that one Ferrari engine. Then we've got the Red Bulls, who seem to have just got completely eradicated their reliability woes over the last few races, which is brilliant for us because it gives us that knowledge of consistency from them. Let's have a quick look at the spreadsheet just to show you how consistent they're being. Look at the points per race from the Red Bull up here, top right. Hopefully my face isn't blocking that. Actually, let's move it across because my face may be blocking that. Top right, you can see Red Bull's average per race across the season is 64 points, and that is now 20 points more on average than Ferrari. So you can see that the value, they're almost 2 points per million, which is Ferraris are 1.7 points per million per race, which is great. But the Red Bulls are just blowing my mind with how consistent they have been recently, and Perez is performing the best ever, probably. Really pushing Max. I know he had a bit of trouble during the race in Baku, but just in general over the last few races, Perez has just been really, really good form and just amazing value. In fact, let's just have a quick look again. The points per race, you can see Perez here at 33. He's now on average across the season outscoring everyone apart from his teammate Verstappen, who's scoring 37 points per race. So I still think Verstappen as an individual driver is overpriced for what's going on. You can see what I mean by that. You can see the points per million per race is only 1.2 for Verstappen compared to the likes of Perez, who's 1.8. So that having Perez over Verstappen really does give you more balance in your team and lets you avoid the likes of Magnussen. I kind of want to avoid Magnussen. I'm sure he's going to have a good race at some point. Maybe it'll come in Canada, so maybe Magnussen is still fine for Canada and we can't continuously just get minus points every race. But we have to. The buck has to stop somewhere. We can't just give Magnussen infinite time because he's just draining points at the moment. So by not having Verstappen going for someone like Perez and just having Red Bull as your constructor, who happen to be on the double streak, let's have a look here. You can see the double streak here for Red Bull even more, gives us even more incentive to add the Red Bulls into our team. Get rid of those Ferraris and bring the Red Bulls. Having said that, I think the Ferraris should actually be fine around Canada, and I think there's a argument to be had to have the Ferraris in your team. And the team I originally had, in fact, if we just go back, discard this, so you can see the original team I had, this could still potentially be fine going into Canada if you are willing to take the risk on the Ferrari reliability. So I don't anticipate Ferrari just DNF in every race. It's just not going to happen, is it? But there is concern. So if you're really concerned, you can scrap off the Ferraris and have that build that I just put up there, something similar. The likes of Vettel really starting to shine now. He's proven more consistency. The Aston Martin's looking a bit stronger since they've brought in those, upgrade, copycat Red Bull, whatever you want to call it. I don't think they actually copied, but who knows? I'm not going to get into that, but basically Vettel and Aston Martin in general just are looking that much stronger, and 11.4 million, Vettel is definitely offering some good value for money. Stroll seems to be struggling a little bit, just in general, I think, and that gives that Vettel, we go back to the spreadsheet again, you can see Vettel, in terms of beating his teammate, is outdoing Stroll quite consistently here. So yeah, I think you could argue you want Stroll as well, just because he's getting all these points from gaining positions and everything. But Vettel, he's not exactly losing positions. Oh, I've just completely messed up my spreadsheet. But yeah, Vettel is definitely someone that's starting to catch my eye a little bit, and he's definitely under some consideration. And he's in that price bracket where you can have Vettel, you can have Ocon, you can have Alonso, you can have Gasly, you can have Bottas. There's that slot in the team, in most people's team structure, I think, where one of those drivers, it's not just Bottas now. Like, Bottas has been fantastic all season, and he still potentially could be fantastic, but there's now more options I see with, like I just said, Vettel, Gasly. If you can't quite get up to that sort of budget, then maybe you can look at Stroll with Aston Martin's improving, and hopefully Stroll can actually stop crashing in qualifying. So yeah, there's plenty of food for thought. Another team I was considering, actually, just before I say that, I will say one more thing on the Ferraris, and I don't want to be too drastic and just be like, get Ferrari out the team and forget about them, because I do think they still offer good value for money, and I do think they will finish races. I think, for example, Sainz, in your head you're probably thinking Sainz, he keeps DNFing, but actually I think he's only actually DNF'd 3 races, 3 out of 8, so he's actually finishing more races than he's DNFing. So, and when he does finish a race, he tends to probably score between sort of 25, 30 odd points, and that's fantastic value for someone that costs 17 million. So I still think Sainz and Leclerc could still offer us fantastic value. It might be a little bit, drastic and knee-jerky to just kick them straight out of the team. So yeah, I do think a team, as you can see on the screen right now, maybe you don't want to trust Magnussen. You want to go up to someone like Albon if you can afford it. If not, someone I was actually seriously considering going into Baku was Latifi. I was talking to my friend about this. I mentioned Latifi, and he's like, "You've definitely like drunk too much." I admittedly had a couple of glasses of wine, but I was seriously considering Latifi just because of I was a bit worried about the hazards, and as it turned out, if Latifi scored 8 points, I think, and would have been a fine pick, just because he always qualifies like 19th or 20th or whatever, and then there's always DNF, so he just keeps accumulating points. And then let's have a quick look at him. Actually, just I can't believe I can't believe I'm actually discussing Latifi in this video. It's shocking, but look at his actual points. For his price, that's fine. When you look at the last 4 races, for example, 8, 13, 13, 12. We compare that to Magnussen that we just saw a minute ago, which gave us a grand total of -12. In one race, Latifi's doing better than that. So for 500,000 more, Latifi at the moment is putting Magnussen to shame. And I feels wrong putting Latifi on our team, but if that's where your budget gets you to and you don't want Magnussen, then I'm going to say it. Latifi might be the one to get in our teams, and oh my god, please don't unsubscribe from me based on that. But I do generally think that it could be time for Nicholas Latifi, or Go Tifi, as he's clearly not known at all. He could be in the team. So let's get him out of there for now, though, because it just feels wrong. It feels wrong, but maybe it's right. Who knows? So another build. If you didn't want to go, if you still trust the Ferraris and you think Leclerc, we trust Leclerc, then I've got another build for you here. Let me just have a quick look what I was considering. So we got Gasly. These mid-range, sort of mid-priced drivers are starting to just give us a bit more food for thought here. And again, we can bring in someone like Vettel. I'm obviously 500,000 short, so if you can afford Vettel and you think Vettel is going to be good going around Canada, then this is definitely a build. If you don't want Vettel, like I say, there seems to be plenty of action down here. You can bring back Bottas, Stroll. If you want to go down to someone like Albon, Latifi, no, don't go to Latifi in this build because you've got the money. I'd only advocate bringing in Latifi if you're literally that real budget enabler, and it's basically your choices are Magnussen, Schumacher, Latifi. Then maybe you want to pick Latifi. I wouldn't put Latifi in the team because I think he's actually good, but you know what I mean. So yeah, with a team like this, you can go for Bottas, something like this. If you want to kind of err on the side of caution and just kind of avoid the Ferrari slightly. One thing I will say, I don't know if you're aware, possibly, I'm sure some of you are, but some of you won't be, Leclerc might have a grid penalty going into Canada, so please, before you lock in your teams, listen out for the latest news on Leclerc's engine. As of the time of recording this, it doesn't look like he's going to be needing to take basically an engine penalty, because his engine basically blew up in Baku, and they've already used many components for that engine. So just keep your ears peeled. That's not the right expression. Keep your ears open, whatever. Just listen out, watch out. If Leclerc gets that grid penalty, does it? It's difficult because if Leclerc qualifies on pole, which he basically does every single race, let's face it. If Leclerc qualifies on pole, he gets a 10-place grid penalty for changing his engine about. Then he still will lose points for positions lost. Relative to where he qualifies, not his actual starting position on the grid. So if he starts back in 11th or whatever it is, then yeah, he's bound to overtake people, but he won't get those overtaking points whatsoever because of how the rules work this season. He won't actually get those points. So basically, if there's going to be a penalty for Leclerc, just be mindful of it. Okay. So to summarize, basically what I'm trying to say is be a bit cautious about Ferrari, but don't write them off. But for Canada, particularly because the Red Bulls are on that double streak, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. Have Red Bull as your constructor, and then I think until proven otherwise, until Red Bull start having issues or Ferrari start not having issues or whatever, then for at least the foreseeable future, at least the next 2-3 races, for example, for me personally, I'm thinking Red Bull constructor and let everything else revolve around that. Red Bull constructor plus Perez, basically, and then fit the other 4, the best 4 you can squeeze in with the rest of the budget. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. And with those other 4 drivers, do we want Leclerc plus Sainz? Do we want just Leclerc? Do we want maybe even just Sainz? Do we not want Ferrari at all? And that's kind of where I'm thinking at the moment. So yeah, to summarize, Red Bull are good. That's the video. Rebel are good. Yeah, so that's it for me now. I'm going to be back as usual for my Friday video. Well, hopefully Friday. It's going to be final thoughts as usual after the second practice session. UK time, the second practice session finishes at 11 o'clock at night. So if I'm feeling up to it, if I've got that energy, and if my brain's functioning at that time, I will be recording the video Friday night. If not, I'll be doing it Saturday morning. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Turn on the notifications and all that stuff. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Before the Friday video as well, I'll also probably put out the Twitter questions things. I've not included that on this video. I apologise if you were expecting that, but I will probably put a tweet out tomorrow as of recording this, which is Wednesday. So yeah, make sure you follow me on Twitter at PopPowermanF1. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. As always, I'll catch you on Friday/Saturday for my final thoughts and sort of a more, hopefully a bit more of an accurate idea of exactly which team I'm going to be going for. So thanks as ever for watching, and catch you at the end of the week. Have a good week. See you later. Bye bye.